what's interesting about, now I've already mentioned the Precision IT and the Norfolk Southern issues. So because my credit, well, because I couldn't pay the bills because of what happened with me, CitiBank, particularly during the Norfolk Southern time, really went after me. They just would not stop calling, and one of the problems, I had a real hard time getting reception because the Norfolk Southern building is full of either cement or concrete-filled blocks on that first floor. It's robust, so it's very hard to get a signal, and my carrier was not particularly strong in that area anyway. But Wells Fargo, I don't know if I just said CitiBank, but I meant to say Wells Fargo to start off with those guys. That's the one that they kept calling me, and I had a business credit card because I had attempted to start a business a few years ago. That's how I signed up with Wachovia originally. And so I had to make payments on that. And because they wouldn't stop calling me, I said, you need to cease and desist this. And somehow they tried to claim to me that they were, because I said that a particular key phrase, which I don't know what their idiot phrases are. They said because I said a particular phrase, they canceled my card in retaliation. After having worried to live and taste them, I said, I'm just now getting back on my feet, and they wouldn't listen. And they were really vicious about that. So it's rather interesting and ironic somewhat that here years later, within the last 6 months, here in 2015, that I got a letter from a lawyer out in, I think it's San Diego, and his class action lawsuit against Wells Fargo because they absorbed, Wachovia, of course. And it was because of the robocalls, because of harassing people. Exactly the very thing I went through, but mine was the next level up, where I'm having a person talking to me, and this person retaliates by canceling the card, and I had to borderline beg to get the card restarted because I had to have a line of credit. I mean, that's partly how I was surviving, just trying to get back on my feet. And, like use the money for the rent and then use the credit to pay other things like gas or at least, for a month or two, groceries or something like that, even though it was running up and very little being paid down. So I told the lawyer, I said, I'm not settling. I'm not settling just for robocalls. That's not going to work. No. So Wells Fargo, I've told them to their faces, I've said, first chance I get, when I get back on my feet one day, I'm going to find another bank. Because it's just inexcusable to attack somebody when they're down like that. It's not a matter of, oh, well, they're collecting, they have the right under the law to call you as many times as they want. Well, that's already been pretty much disproven because of the lawsuits. I mean, look at the couple down in Florida who sued Bank of America. Now, Bank of America's defense didn't work so well. Their attorney should be fired because they missed a cutoff date and they ended up with a judgment of $1 million. That's a fluke. But nonetheless, class action lawsuits. I mean, the Wells Fargo thing was a settlement. All I do is just participate. But what am I going to do? If it's like $1 million or $13 million settlement, what am I going to do? Get $50 and then overlook what they did when they can't intentionally and retaliated and cancel the card, and then maybe beg to get it back? No. That's not a settlement. That isn't. I don't walk away like that. No. And about the same time, I don't know which was worse. CitiBank with the Sears card I have was unbelievable, and I only have about $1,000 on the card. Stunning. I mean, just relentless calls, calling me over time, not just back at this time, but even months past this, relentlessly. They called me on the eve of Thanksgiving one year. They called me Easter one year, and then denied it. And I've told them, I said, you just wait. When I get this card paid off, I'm going to cut this sucker in half. I'm going to send one to that hedge fund president in what is that, something estates up there in Illinois, and I will send the other half to the president of CitiBank. You can both shove it, because the sad part is, at my age, I was a loyal Sears shopper for the longest time. Get the car repaired. I even bought a freaking Asus laptop from those guys one time, high-end laptop, because it was a good deal and I could put it on the credit card. But But the sad part is, my grandfather, who's no longer alive, bought my first bicycle from a, the scratch and dent depot of a Sears when I was very young. And I've always been crazy about, their wrenches and their tools and their guarantees and stuff. And I've liked buying clothes. My parents bought clothes when I was growing up. Overall, I'd love to see Sears survive, just like I'd love to see JCPenney. Maybe it's just nostalgia or something, but I think they do. Overall, I like the way they do things. But I've told Sears, I said, that's it. If this is how you want to treat me, by harassing me. Now, they're not calling right now because I've told them, the things I'm telling you right now. But it was just too much. It was months of this stuff. And I've had, as I explain in these videos, I have, lull periods where somebody does something terrible to me and I lose money and I can't pay my bills and I get behind and then they start calling me. And they're relentless. They're ridiculous. So, but now they've retaliated too. They've canceled the card. So, and again, my credit score is, you wouldn't believe, I can't even rent an apartment now because of my credit score. I can't even rent a house because of my credit score, because of these kinds of things going on. And there's more coming. But it's just, you look at that hedge fund, what that guy did. I can't remember his name, but he's out there at something estates in Illinois. And he hooked up with Kmart and made all those mistakes. There's no synergy between that. It was the stupidest idea on the planet. Anybody ever think for just 2 seconds about that? None. And they should take note. I mean, a customer for over 40 years, and this is how you treat people. When they're down, you kick them like this and make these kind of calls. I mean, the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, who do you think is going to make a payment on that kind of time? Do you think I'm just so stupid I don't know that I owed you money for a mere $1,000? My other credit cards are much higher than that. So how is it you take precedence? The other two cards existed before the Sears card. 40 years of goodwill ruined. I've not shopped back there. I don't get my car repaired there. I don't get anything done. I would love to go in and buy, if I had money, a whole honking big set of your Craftsman tools, especially with the way you're going now. Y'all liable to go out of business, the way things are going. The millions you're losing every year, or millions you're losing every quarter for that matter. Yeah, you got all these stupid illegals running around that don't understand what built this country, because Sears built this country in a certain sort of way with its catalogs and its products and stuff that it sold and the tools it sold, and eventually the appliances and all that. In a sense, right after the war with all the appliances that were, the consumer age and things like that. Yeah, lawnmowers and all kinds of things. It's been a good company. But you and CitiBank want to go after me like this? It's just positively inexcusable. I mean, I got my phone records from my carrier. I have about yay thick, and all I have to do is just go through and look up your number and highlight it. And I guarantee there's over probably 200 calls in there over the time that I have recorded. And you all just say, well, we follow the rules. No, you didn't, because there's something called doing business with customers. And at least, like, for example, my phone carrier, when I want to talk to them about something, they look at my record online, and I realize we're in big data period, so it's a little different. They can easily track it. You can't track me back to the 70s. That's a different game. I understand that. But nonetheless, interestingly, when I ask about a deal or a rate or something, over the years, they'll say, well, yeah, we noticed you've been a customer for this many years with us, and that's unusual. You didn't switch carriers all over the place. No, you had pretty good deals. You treated me reasonably well. There are a few times I got really angry with my carrier and came close to, I did look around. But you guys you're losing money, you're losing who you are. You're about to go out of business and you don't give a rat. And this is how you treat people with this kind of viciousness. It's just shameful. It's un-American. And until you make amends for it, I don't know. I don't know if I overlooked this, but you just, Lambert, that's it. First thing you need to do is get rid of him, because this is what has undone the company. Is a hedge fund controlling Sears. No. And I realize that things have changed and people don't buy the things they used to, but still, I think Sears is still a good company, but you got to make amends.